I am literally sitting in a hotel room at my second conference of the last 2 weeks, and I have noticed a trend that people have been asking me or struggling with, and that is how to make the most of a conference. I hear all the time, like, that conference wasn't worth it, or I didn't get X, Y, and Z out of it like I thought I would. So I'm going to help you manage your expectations and get the most out of any conference that you go to with a few quick tips. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I sound like a man slightly, but that's because I'm on like day 7 of talking to all the people and yelling over loud music and yelling over lots of other people talking and not sleeping in my own bed and all the things. I'm actually here at Alt Summit in Palm Springs, California, and this is the second conference in my string of conferences over the last 2 weeks. I just left San Diego where I was at Social Media Marketing World. So I'm here at Alt. I'm actually speaking. I speak tomorrow and Thursday. And I'm super pumped. But I sound like a man. So if you are new here, this is not normally what I sound like, but I promise that I'll always bring the same value. So my name is Jessica Stansberry, if you don't know me, and I help entrepreneurs create businesses that they love so they can have the life they love. That's basically my jam. And again, I'm in a hotel room, totally different than my normal backdrop. But if you could see that way, where I'm having to face the window, it is absolutely stunning. I may even show you like a picture of that. But anyway, I'm having to hold my mic. A lot of things are different in this video, but I wanted to come to you really quickly because so many people have said some similar things to me, and that is, I didn't love that conference, or, well, I thought I was going to X, Y, and Z, but I didn't get to, or insert thing here that went wrong, or they're going to the conference for the wrong thing, which I think is a common mistake. So I'm going to give you a couple of my tricks and tips to make the most out of any conference that you ever go to, because there's a lot of conferences, guys, and a lot of different like retreats and networking events. And if we go in with the wrong expectations, we will always leave disappointed. And we want to make sure we don't do that. Okay. So we're just going to step into it because I am filming in a hotel room and I ain't got no time for chatter. So first and foremost, if you hear nothing else, and whether you believe me or not, you need to hear this. And that is, do not go to conferences for the content, ever. Literally never is my goal at a conference to learn. And I know that sounds horrible. Sometimes I surprise myself and I learn things. But my goal is never to go in to learn. And that's because a lot of times I'm going to conferences where the sessions either don't speak to my own business or they are things I already kind of know about. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is that, like, most of the time, probably 80% of the time, maybe 75, when you purchase a full ticket to a conference, you also get the recordings from that conference. So each speaker is going to be recorded. Their session is going to be recorded, and it's likely going to be dropped in some kind of Vimeo or something where you can go in and watch it later. So if you go in for the content and you don't take the time to network, which I think is the reason you should go to conferences, then you're going to be disappointed by the content most of the time, depending on where you are in your business. But 2, you're going to fill up all your time and not have time to network. So that's the second part of this tip, and that is to go to conferences always with the goal to network. Now, this can be different per conference. Maybe you literally want to meet as many people as possible and spread your message. That's okay. Maybe you know a few people going and you really want to connect with them and connect on a deeper level. Maybe there's a speaker at the conference or the organizer of the event that you'd really like to get to know and build a relationship with. Either way, you need to be networking at these things to get the most out of your experience. Social Media Marketing World, Alt Summit, I was just at Podfest. None of these experiences are cheap, right? They all involve, 1, the ticket to the event, 2, the hotel, 3, the flight, if it's not in driving distance, and if it is in driving distance, the gas, 4, Ubers or a rental car or whatever you've got going on for transportation. So these things are not cheap. And a lot of times when I tell people, like, I only go to network, like, I'm okay if I don't go to the sessions, then they kind of look at me funny, like, you spent that much money to get here and you're okay, like, not going to any sessions? And the answer is yes, I am, because the relationships built behind the scenes are worth way more than the content or the, wasting that time and feeling disappointed if I don't like the content. So a lot of times at the bigger conferences like Social Media Marketing World, and this one a little bit, I will go and support my friends who are also speakers, which I wasn't a speaker at Social Media Marketing World. Somebody tell Michael Stelzner that I need to be. But a lot of my friends were speaking. Amanda Bond, Tyler McCall, Sean Cannell, Tim Schmoyer, Sunny Lenarduzzi, Dana Malstaff, just lots and lots and lots of my friends. And if I forgot you, I'm sorry. Nick Nimmin, Owen Video, all of these people are speaking and they're good friends of mine. So if I could get there and support them and be in the audience, it was well worth it to me to do so. Some of them I had to miss, but if I could get there and be in the audience to support and cheerlead, that's more important to me than the content that was delivered. Although in every one of those sessions I just mentioned, the ones that I actually went to, I learned something new in every single one. So have the expectation that you're not going for the content, you're going for the networking. All right, the second one is similar to what I just said, but not quite. I want you to have a goal or a must-do list. So again, you're going to a conference where you really want to connect with the organizer. Make that like a check-offable thing on your list of things to do while you're there. Need to connect with so-and-so. Maybe there's a speaker you want to connect with, or there's an event you can go to that has some people you want to connect with, or maybe you don't know anybody at all and you are really new and you really just want to make relationships. Then your must-dos need to be like meet 5 people or find a group of people to hang out with or whatever. But make a goal list and a must-do list. So if you make that must-do list, you will end up doing those things because you know that if you don't, you're going to be disappointed in yourself. So make a must-do list and a goal list and get it done. This one is 2-tiered. The first part of this is when you're going into a conference where you know you're going with friends, 1, awesome. Keep those friends. Hopefully they have the same goals as you and they can go out into the universe with you and do the things. If you are going to one that doesn't have friends or people you know, then find people that have the same goals and must-dos as you. It's going to be a lot easier for you to get those things done if you're in a group. Everything is more awkward as a single individual person. Like going up to Amy Porterfield and fangirling on her is going to be way more awkward as you by yourself versus you with 3 other friends who also have the same goal to meet Amy Porterfield. So find friends, if you don't already have them, that have the same goals, and make sure that your friends that you already do have that you're traveling with have the same goals as you or are willing to support you in your goals, and you can support them in theirs. Now, this one's a double-edged sword because this actually wasn't even on my bullet points, but I need to mention this while we're here on this topic. A lot of times we will go to conferences with a set of friends and we never leave those friends and they don't have the same goals as us. So let's say we're in a group of 3 or 4 people and we love them and they're our best friends, but their goals are not the same as ours. Their goals are a little different. Their goals are, other things more than ours. We can tend to get stuck and not accomplish our goals because we want to stay with our friends. So don't do that either. You definitely need to get outside and make sure that those goals get done. That's way more important than having the friends you're already friends with by your side all the time. All right, 2 more tips here. 1 is to take advantage of after parties and dinners and the fringe time in these conferences. So yes, There may be sessions from 8 to 5, but everybody got to eat. So find some people that you want to go out to eat with and go with them. And I know that sounds maybe easier said than done if you're an introvert or if you literally are going into a conference you don't know anybody. Because I understand that. Here at Alt, I actually really don't know that many people, maybe like 10 at most, and there's 1,500 people here. So sometimes that's easier said than done, and I totally understand that, but take advantage of it. A lot of times people will post meetups and dinners in the group pages or in the conference pages or groups, or there will be organized dinners or whatever by brands that you'll be invited to, or whatever the situation. A lot of times there's already organized things. And if not, make it one of your goals, back to those goals, every single day to find a new group of people to go out to dinner with. Or maybe you find a really awesome group of people on day one and you really want to build foundational, deep relationships with them. Go out to dinner with them every single day. So when I say networking, going back to my first point, yes, you can totally go into a conference and just meet all the people. Go to a different dinner every night with different people, or go, sit with different people at every turn. And in some conferences, I think that that's great. I actually would say like some of the smaller conferences, that is usually my goal, or it's usually a secondary goal, but some kind of goal is to just not get comfortable and always sit with the same people or always go out with the same people. So that can be a goal, but it can also be okay and a great goal to solidify relationships by way of having the same people around all the time and being able to build those deep relationships. That's okay too. All right. I have no clue what number bullet point I'm on because I've added a few that weren't on here, but my final one, maybe the most important one, and the one you've probably heard me say the most if you follow me anywhere on social media, and that is be memorable. When you are networking, when you are going to these dinner parties, when you are speaking, when you are meeting people in the bathroom, whatever the situation is, make sure they remember you. My goal is to make sure that whatever the high level goal is, like if it's to meet 150 people and, have good conversations with them, or if it's to really solidify a relationship with 10 people, whatever that goal is, I make sure that I include the fact that I'm memorable in all of that. Now, it's really interesting because this can be done in so many ways. I am an extrovert and I also have a very big personality. Also, I have a Southern accent. So I do have that, I think, to my advantage. And I love that I think that's an advantage now, because for years in my business, I thought that it was a disadvantage and that people would think I was less than because of my accent. But I think it's an advantage now because when I talk to someone, they're going to remember me. And even if they don't, like let's say they talk to 150, 200 people while they were here or at a conference and they don't really remember me, but for some reason I need to reach out, I'm going to point out what our conversation was about and the fact that I was the Southern girl. Okay? So find something that makes you memorable. I've seen people do this with funny t-shirts, with really loud outfits or really amazing outfits, hats, amazing shoes. I've seen people do this who are in pairs that have matching t-shirts that like complement each other. I've seen people do this with their business cards or a notebook they give to everybody, or just in conversation in general with their personality. You can be memorable regardless of who you are and what your personality is. There's people I have thought, wow, like they were so amazing, and I would remember them all the time because they were so different than me. They were very quiet and soft-spoken and relaxing to speak to. So you don't have to be loud and crazy, and you don't have to have a Southern accent, and you don't have to have any of that to be memorable. I promise. Like that's not something that has to happen, but you need to be memorable regardless. Like that's the key. So those are my tips on how you can make the most out of any conference that you go to. Take a minute for me and head down to the comment section and let me know if you've ever been to a conference, what your favorite conference was, and or if you're planning to go to any in the future, because we can all meet up and hang out together, and you may even find your best friend down there in that comment section. And until next time, make sure you hit subscribe, because I don't want you to miss any other tips and tricks to help you run a business that helps you build a life that you love. Bye, y'all.